I I see you. The dream of stepping on a stage, multiplying your impact. It is so beautiful and some of my clients have followed that career path and it can be so incredibly fulfilling. But I know that the process can come with a lot of confusion, with a lot of frustration. You don't know what to do first. So today I'm removing the noise and giving you what actually gets you recognized by event curators, which is a clear point of view that makes you stand out. Do you want to be seen as the go-to in your industry, get more sales, easily attract new opportunities, but feel overlooked online? If so, you are in the right place. Hey, I'm Eugenia, but you can call me E. I'm a marketing strategist, a wife, and a new mom. I learned the secret of how to be seen as an authority and have people think of you for new opportunities and more clients. If you're ready to get clear on what makes your personal brand unique, build a magnetic presence online, and get more eyes on your business, this is your next move. Hey, my love, if you're feeling overlooked online, even though you're really good at what you do, this is going to be for you. You are showing up online with content that's super valuable. You are delivering great work and your clients love you, but you're still struggling with distraction. Getting leads gets so hard. And don't get me started on the opportunities and the recognition that you know you're ready for, like speaking on stages. Hello. And deep down, you know it's not about working harder or just redoing your whole business. Something about your brand isn't just clicking the way that it should. And that's exactly what we are going to uncover inside the brand positioning audit. This is a one-on-one session where I help you pinpoint what is not landing in your current brand presence and exactly what to shift so you can start getting noticed, trusted, and chosen in your industry. You don't need to redo your whole business. You don't need to make a big quote-unquote pivot. You need up-leveled positioning that reflects what makes you so amazing. So go to eugeniawu.com/brand to book your brand positioning audit. And let's close the gap between your brilliance and how you're seen. Last year, I hosted a podcast activation at this event. It was really the go-to event for aspiring speakers in South Florida. So there, I got to interview amazing, incredible speakers. And they all had one thing in common. They were not on demand because of the best social media presence, because they were so different, or really because their speaking reel was top notch, which sure, yes, they did have those elements, but the reason they were top in demand was because they had such a clear message and such a clear and unique perspective tied to their personal story. So that day taught me something. Events, they don't book portfolios. They book POVs. They book points of view, unique perspectives. They book clear, repeatable ideas. So before you create your talk, you need to define what your point of view is. Why? Because people don't get booked because they're helpful. If that was the case, everyone would be on a stage. There are so many people that are so helpful. Literally, every time I go to the doctor, any type of doctor, I'm like, you should have a podcast. You should have a course. Like, there are so many helpful people in the world. People get booked because they have something worth listening to. Speakers get booked because they have something worth listening to. The problem is that, and I see this so much. And I'm just like, it really touches me because, as I said, I think if you're helpful, you need to be on a stage, you need to have a course, you need to have a podcast. Like, you need to be helping more people. But most people, they try to get visible before they get clear. And this was me, by the way. This was me starting a podcast tour back in 2020, 2021, and I wasn't really clear what I was talking about. But that's the story for another day. But don't try to get visible if you are not clear. And speaker slots, they don't go to people with just offers. They go to people with ideas. And this is such a huge shift. You don't just have an offer now. You have an idea. You have a movement. You are leading people somewhere. You're standing up for something larger than yourself. And that's what events want to see in their stages. And you cannot lead a room if people don't have a clear takeaway with your message. So first, to get that foundation, to get that prepped, to really define your point of view, you need to define that missing piece, right? That point of view. Because that point of view, the POV, is the heartbeat of your speaking career. That POV is the clear belief, that is your unique lens on how you see things. It is a lived truth, something that reframes your audience's problem in one sentence. For example, I love the app Evlo. It is a workout app. It is my favorite. I have tried tons of apps, and that one is by far my favorite. They have this thing called gentle consistency, which is about building consistency and showing up, but not in a way of like, oh, let's go all in, very like hustle culture, but in a way that makes you feel like every time you show up to your workout, you are progressing. Like it really does feel that way. So that gentle consistency approach is more than a tip, like 3 or 5 ways to be successful. Build gentle consistency. No. That is a positioning lens. That is a unique perspective. So your signature talk starts with a signature belief. It starts with you. You need to define what you stand for. Why? Because, again, events don't book portfolios, but they book ideas. They book stories. They want to be able to put you in a category. They want to give you a title. They want to be able to match you with the right audience. They want to make it super valuable for their people because they are serving their people, those people that are attending the event. So how do you do this? How do you define your point of view? Here are some great questions I found and I thought of in my experience. I think they are great. Number 1, what do most people get wrong in your space? Number 2, what's a word you want people to associate with you in a year? Like, let's start dreaming. Like, what's a word? What single shift gets your people the result faster? Like, what's one thing that if they change, they're going to get to that result faster? Then, now that you have your POV, you have your belief, and you can just state it like, I believe X, Y, Z. Your next step is to build authority before you pitch. This might be controversial because, sure, you need to start somewhere 100%, but you don't control how many yeses you get. You do control the output, right? You are controlling how many posts you're putting out, how many podcast episodes, like what is your credibility online? So this is about being visible through your content and intentionally building that recognition because, again, you can control whether they're going to say yes or no. The reason for this is uncomfortable truth. If no one's quoting you online, they won't put you on stage, or your chances of being on stage are going to be dramatically reduced. More and more event organizers, they want speakers who have been places. That gives them reassurance that it's going to be a good speaker, that it's going to be valuable. They want to feel like other people agree that you're worth listening to. It's like that social reassurance. And while there's another thing we cannot control, and that is what other people think of us, we can help shape that perception through the content we create. So how do you do this? First, start positioning now by writing content. Share the belief. Test your story. So many times I see entrepreneurs get stuck. They are not posting their POV because they are waiting it to be perfect. They send me like 1,000 reviews. They run it through ChatGPT. They're like, should I do this and that? And they ask like their friend, their mother, like people that are not even in their industry or their ideal audience. Put it out there. Put it out there, see what resonates, and then you are going to start identifying what works for you and for your audience. And by the way, you can also book one of my brand positioning audit sessions if you are not sure about your own POV or how to shape it or how to like word it, right? How to really maximize it to start getting the recognition that will take you to the stage. Let's get in touch, eugeniawu.com/brand. But today I want to leave you with this. Stages aren't given to the most helpful voice. They are given to the most clear and compelling one. So take the time to figure out your perspective, put it out there, be clear about it, and bring people on the journey with you. See you next week. I hope you loved today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and send it to someone who's ready to be seen as the go-to in their industry? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. I love reading your comments. They remind me of those little notes you would send your friends in high school, you know? Okay, see you back here soon with the next episode. Un beso.